Good morning, good people. Welcome back to Collector's Quest, and thank you for joining me on another Saturday morning for another game adventure. And today is definitely going to be an adventure. So on last week's video, when I went round my local CEXs on that £20 PlayStation 3 CEX challenge, it made me realise how much fun it is to just go around CEX, not have a clue what they've got to offer in the shops, and just see what they've got on the shelves, because going to CEX is truly a lottery. You never know what you're going to find, so I figured today I'll go to as many CEXs in my area. I've gone on record to say that the West Midlands is a hotspot when it comes to retro game collecting. In my local area, which is Stourbridge, you've got 4 great retro gaming shops and 4 very good CEXs. So I hit up Google Maps and I went to see how many local CEXs were in a 20-mile radius, and I've got 6. So going to get in the car, going to hit up as many local CEXs as possible, and we're going to see what they've got to offer. You've seen my collecting habits, so I'm after JRPGs, survival horror games, PlayStation 3 games, steelbooks, bigger box editions, anything that I can add to that amazing PlayStation 3 collection. And I love collecting the weird and wonderful, so hopefully the CEXs in my local area got some great stuff to add to my collection. But before we get to all that, it wouldn't be a Collector's Quest video without trading in a big bag of sports reg stuff into CEX for those sweet vouchers. So let's take a look in the bag of goodies that we're trading in the CEX today. Right then guys, jumping into the big sports rec bag, got so much in here. So I'm going to take in this copy of Farming Simulator 18 that I picked up last week at a local charity shop. Paid £6.50 for that, and it goes in for £23 voucher. You do get about £35–40 on eBay, but I can't be bothered with doing it on eBay, so I'll just take the voucher. Also got a PS4 controller. Took this in last week to Stourbridge, but they said they had an issue testing it on their PC. They said the PC was playing up. I've tested the controller. It looks okay, so we'll try that again. But got everything from phones, hard drives. Got an old GTX 750 down there, graphics card. Even got a steering wheel. All this has been picked up from last season's car boot, so I'm just working my way through it. So yeah, plenty of stuff to trade in the CEX for those sweet vouchers. So first stop on the CEX shop challenge is going to be Stourbridge. We're taking all that stuff and we'll hopefully pick up a sweet voucher. So let's get the car loaded and I'll catch you when we do that walk into Stourbridge CEX. I'm doing that familiar walk into Stourbridge CEX, and it's a really nice day today. It's like 12 degrees, so spring's almost there, and I can smell the car boots for that close. Car boot season is almost there. I can smell the freshly cut grass and those greasy cheeseburgers. So yeah, I'm hoping to hit up a car boot this week. So yeah, I'll sort of bring you guys along for the ride. But yeah, hopefully we're trading all this stuff for a nice sweet voucher, so I'll catch you when we get into Stourbridge. Stepping into Stourbridge CEX, and I had a really nice PS4 console here for Kingdom Hearts 3. Super cool design, but I'm not a console collector, so I left that for someone else. Stepping into the shop, they had a very interesting bigger box Wii game here, Brothers in Arms Double Time, and this game keeps calling my name. It's Kane and Lynch for the PS3, but in this sleeve, and it is priced up. I think the normal game goes for £1.50 and this is £6, so not sure if I should pick it up. They also had a copy of Pocky and Rocky Reshine, which is a remaster on PS4, but I've got more to say about this game later on in the video. Just came out of Stourbridge CEX, and they took in everything apart from one of the PS3 controllers. The serial number was a bit too scratched, so that's fair enough, but yeah, always a good chat with them. And I picked up 3 games, probably go for the pickups when we get back home, because it's going to be a long day, but yeah, we'll go for that when we get back home. I'm now going to hit up the charity shops after finding that Farming Simulator game for the PS Vita. Massively hyped up, so hopefully we've got the same luck this week, so I'll see you in one of the charity shops. First charity shop had this keyboard. It was a Logitech K400 and they had it priced up at £3, and it does trade in CEX for a £7 voucher for the C grade, but this one was missing the USB dongle, so I left it behind because those were about £3, and by the time you bought that there's nothing left on the bone in terms of a CEX voucher. The next charity shop had a few games, but they were your basement bottom of the barrel games for £1, and they traded in CEX for nothing, so didn't pick up any of these games. But this was the shop that I went to last week where they had a bunch of anime DVDs, and it looked like someone came in and picked them all up, but they had a few left here, but they were priced up at CEX prices. There's nothing here worth picking up to flip in the CEX. Back in the car from my little excursion to Stourbridge, and like I said, Stourbridge CEX went pretty well. They took in everything apart from that PS3 controller, and they quoted me £170 on a sweet voucher, so Happy days. And I also saw a fellow collector, so shout out to you, James. Saw him, great having a chat with him, and someone I actually met from the Retro Ghetto channel. So just fantastic having this community, this game collecting community, and just meeting people who have a similar interest and passion for game collecting. So yeah, great seeing you, mate. And went around the charity shops, and unfortunately nothing on this occasion. They did have some games in a couple of them, but not enough meat on the bone to trade in the CEX, so didn't pick anything up. But then the games you play when you go charity shop hunting. The next stop on this CEX road trip is Merry Hill, so fingers crossed they don't have a ton of cover reprints, so I'll catch you when we get to Merry Hill. Just got to Merry Hill and I've almost just been in a crash, like literally coming down to park in a parking spot and someone decides to reverse out, so that was good fun. But hopefully we have more fun in Merry Hill CEX, so I'll see you when we get in there. Going to the next CEX, which was Merry Hill. They had a copy of Magin and the Forsaken Kingdom for the 360. Never seen this game before, so let me know in the comments below if this is one worth picking up. Also found Mario Kart in the cardboard sleeve, which I didn't know existed. Been after Dead Space Extraction for the Nintendo Wii, but there was about 15 people in the queue, so I left it behind. If you need a copy of Wii Sports for the Wii, Merry Hill has got you back, because there must have been 10 copies here. Kingdom Hearts 2 has got to be one of the best front covers ever on the PS2. I love the metallic finish and the art, great stuff here. Had a copy of Assassin's Creed Origins in this nice cardboard sleeve, but was a bit too bad for me, so I left it behind for someone else. Very expensive game, Back to the Future, a Telltale game for £65. The Silent Hill 2 steelbook for the PS5 is my most wanted steelbook. I'm always checking CX, but today, no luck, so maybe in the future we'll pick it up. Just came out of Merry Hill CX and unfortunately no dice, nothing for me on this occasion. They had a copy of Gregory Horror Show for the PS2 with a manual for £95, but I haven't got the vouchers, so I had to leave that one behind. And they also had a copy of Dead Space Extraction for the Wii, but there was like 15 people in the queue, so I'll pick that up at some other points. Next stop on this CEX road trip is going to be Dudley, so I'll catch you when we get to Dudley. Just made it into Dudley, so fingers crossed, let's hope this CEX is better than Merry Hill. I'll speak to you when we get into Dudley CEX. The third CEX we went to was Dudley, and a couple of decent retro bits in the window here. Had a Super Nintendo Mini, which was very cool and in nice condition. Found an interesting copy of Dirt Rally here, complete with the documentary about Colin McRae. I'm not a massive rally fan, but a pretty cool find here. The Hitman Steelbook for the PS4 has got to be one of the most common steelbooks you'll find in CEX. Found another copy of Brothers in Arms Double Time for the Nintendo Wii, so maybe not as rare as I initially thought. Another nice piece of Nintendo Wii cardboard here for Super Mario Galaxy 2, and this has got to be one of the biggest disrespects a game can have here. Cover reprint, and it's in an Xbox One case. I went into the cash converters when I was in Dudley and I found some Nendroid figures. These look like they were missing parts, so I left them behind, but definitely want to keep a lookout for while you're doing your game hunts or car boot hunts. They also had some games not badly priced here. Copy of Super Mario Galaxy was £9.99, whereas in CEX it was £18, so definitely keep your eye out for some bargains in cash converters. Back in the car from Dudley CEX, and no surprise, but nothing really happening in that CEX. I was only there last week doing my PS3 £20 CEX challenge, so if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend it. But I picked up a game for £2, nothing overly exciting, but we'll go through it when we get back home. The next stop on this CEX road trip is West Brom, so I'll catch you when we get to West Brom. Right then, just made it into West Bromwich and feels like I've got unfinished business here. I came here a few weeks ago on the way back from IKEA with the missus, and I felt like I was on borrowed time. Bless her, she sat in the car waiting for me and I wasn't able to do my thing and have a proper look, so today we're going to rectify that. And hopefully the next 3 CEX stores have got more to offer than Stourbridge, Merry Hill and Dudley, but to be fair, I was only there at those 3 CEXs last week, so wasn't expecting too much. And we'll have a good look around West Brom at the charity shops and the pawn shop, so I'll see you when we get into West Brom Town Centre. Next up we hit up West Brom CEX, and they had 2 very nice PS4 consoles here. They had the anniversary console in this nice blue colourway, and they also had the camo one. They also had 2 very good condition Pokemon games here for the Game Boy. Stepping into West Brom CEX, had a couple of PS3 sleeves here, but the Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 remix was as flat as a pancake, and the Kane Lynch 2 Dog Day Limited Edition wasn't in the best condition, so I left that one behind. Very tempted by Project 02 for the PS2 for £90, but I just didn't quite have the voucher, so I had to leave that one behind. Nothing in there for me on this occasion, but I did return 2 games that I picked up from Stourbridge. I'll go over the reasoning why when we get back home, but Man, it was such a faff. Tried to return it, guy put it through incorrectly, then he tried to print off the voucher, couldn't do that, then he had to call someone else, and don't know, maybe he's new, but it took a good 15 minutes to do a return, and at the same time someone outside fell over, there was a whole load of commotion going on, and someone was singing about Jesus. Yeah, West Brom. Oh, yeah. Alright then, we've got 2 more CEXs, so hopefully we've got more luck in there. So I'll see you when we get to the next CEX, which is going to be Bearwood. Just made it to Bearwood, and yeah, looks very interesting. Let's just leave it at that. So we're going to walk into CEX, and hopefully this CEX can save this CEX challenge, because I picked up nothing of note at the minute, guys, so it's not looking too good. But yeah, gonna jump out of the car, hopefully we come back to the same car, and yeah, I'll see you when we get in Bearwood CEX. The next CEX, and definitely the best CEX store I went to on this hunt, was the one in Bearwood, and as you can see, had a real nice condition GameCube Platinum console here for £150. Definitely into the CEX, looks can be deceiving. This was very small in terms of size, but has some very good stuff on the shelf. Had a copy of Atelier Riser 2 for £62, which is way cheaper than what I paid. I think I paid £75, so very annoying. Very nice selection of Xbox 360 games here, and they had a copy of Damage Inc., but someone had definitely damaged the case here. Looks like someone chewed the top of it. This was absolutely gutting. So they had a copy of Agarest Generations of War for the PS3, but looked like someone had burnt the sleeve in very bad condition, so I had to leave that one behind. My hunt for the Metal Gear Solid 4 cardboard sleeve continues, as this one was absolutely battered. One of a few classic HD games here in Jak and Daxter the trilogy. Had a copy of Tekken Hybrid here for £32. I think this contains a remaster of one of the older Tekken games, so very cool find here. Another classic HD game in Splinter Cell trilogy, so very nice find here. This was a shame, so I found a copy of Wizardry Tales of the Forsaken Land. This is a Atlas JRPG, but the manual wasn't in the best shape, had some weird damage to the back, so for £38 I had to leave that one behind. I also had to leave behind a copy of the Nonary games for the PS4. This was a North American copy, as you can see, so a shame. So I'm back in the car from Bearwood CEX, and while it's definitely not a place I'd recommend taking the missus out for a day out, CEX was really good, to be fair. Quite small, but as I always say, size doesn't always matter, and they had really good stuff in there, guys. Loads of JRPGs, and could have spent a lot more money, but I got some real nice stuff. I got 4 games I've been actively hunting for, which is amazing, and guy that served me was super sound. Had a good chat to him about games, Silent Hill 2, all that good stuff. So yeah, don't know if I'd recommend coming to Bearwood, but if you are in the area, definitely hit up the CEX, because it is pretty decent. The final CEX on this road trip is going to be Halesowen, so I'll catch you when we get to Halesowen. Going to the final CEX on this hunt in Halesowen, and they had a couple of interesting bits in the window. Had the Fallout 3 Collector's Edition in the lunchbox for £75. They also had this cool Pokemon 3DS console with the Pokedex on the back. Found another copy of Back to the Future, but this was the PS3 version. Another copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 in the cardboard sleeve, but again, not in the condition I'm looking for. Found another copy of Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom, but for the PS3, so again, let me know if this is a game I need to check out. Found Godzilla Save the Earth for PS2, so definitely play this if you want to play a Godzilla game and not the PS3 game I found last week for £220. Just came out of Halesowen CEX, and again, the smaller CEXs are coming in clutch for this CEX challenge. Picked up a couple of games, some pretty nice things in there, so gonna have a dash around the charity shops now, hopefully pick up some more CEX trading bait, and then we'll bring it back home to go over the CEX pickup, so I'll see you in a bit. So I'm back from my CEX road trip, and it was definitely a mixed bag, but for me, I love getting out there, game hunting, taking in some fresh air and touching some grass. So even though the pickups weren't that good, still had a great time, and still highly recommend getting out there game hunting. So starting with Stourbridge CEX, I took in a bunch of electronics, and I got a nice sweet voucher worth £68. A couple of the things did fail, so the steering wheel and pedals failed due to some of the buttons not being responsive, and the PS4 and Xbox One controllers failed due to stick drift, so I might need to spend a bit of time trying to repair them with some contact spray, so maybe we'll try those again on a future video. On my way out of Stourbridge CEX, I mentioned that I picked up 3 games. One of those have been kept to the side for a future video, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. The other 2 games I actually returned, so I picked up Brothers in Arms for the Nintendo Wii in the bigger box, and I picked up Rocky and Pocky Remastered for the PS4. The reason why I returned them, so I returned the Brothers in Arms for the Wii for £6 just because when I was going around Dudley I had a bit of buyer's remorse and I kept telling myself you don't need it, you don't even care about the game, you literally pick this up just because it looked cool on the shelf and because it comes in a bigger box. And I always recommend people to only collect things that brings them joy and things that you actually want to play, and that game didn't tick any of those boxes, so I took it back. And the Rocky and Pocky game I actually returned because for some reason I didn't check while I was in CEX buying it, but it's actually £10 brand new on Amazon. And yeah, maybe someone who works at CEX and watches this video can let us know in the comments below, but how do CEX price their more modern games like PS4, Switch, PS5? Because £25 at CEX second hand versus £10 brand new at Amazon is a massive difference. So highly recommend you doing your research, going on Amazon, Smiths, Currys, Argos for more modern consoles. So I returned those and I got a £31 voucher. Just something to keep in mind, if you do go and buy stuff from CEX in store and you take things back in for a refund, the refund doesn't actually go back on your original payment method, it goes back on a voucher, so keep that in mind if you are making bigger purchases. From Stourbridge I then went to Hill, which didn't have anything for me, and Dudley, which again only had one game for me. The game that I picked up from Dudley CEX was a copy of Final Fantasy X-2 for £2 for the PlayStation 2, and the reason why I picked this up will become apparent on one of the future pickups that I'm going to go through in a bit. I also picked up a copy of Tom Clancy's blah 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 whatever, paid 49p for it, no one cares about it. I literally picked this up just for the case because one of my games has got a bit of a battered case. So top tip to you guys, if you need a new case, go to CEX or Cash Converters and pick up a game for 50p a pound and do it that way. From Dudley CEX I went to West Brom, and again nothing for me, and I was thinking, oh man, I planned out this whole video in my head and I hadn't picked up anything of note from CEX and I was super demotivated, and I was actually going to scrap the whole video. I thought, man, I'm going to go home and just scrap it and do something else, but I thought no, see it through to completion, and I'm super happy I did. So from West Brom CEX I went to Bearwood CEX, and while I wouldn't recommend Bearwood in terms of going there for a day out, the CEX is definitely worth visiting, and I picked up two games. The first one being Devil May Cry, the HD collection for the PS3 for £15. I'm after all of the classic HD games for the PS3, and this is a good one to tick off the list, so happy with that find. I then picked up Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past for £28 for the Nintendo 3DS, again in good complete edition, so happy to pick that up and add it to my Nintendo 3DS collection. But Bearwood was very good. They had a ton of JRPGs. You might have seen on the commentary on the CEX footage that they had a couple of games that either weren't in the condition I was looking for or weren't the actual right region in terms of being a PAL copy, but super good CEX, and I love going to new CEXs and just getting a feel for different CEXs in the area, so definitely recommend Bearwood CEX. And then from Bearwood I went to Howzone CEX, and again pretty decent selection today. It seemed like the small CEXs came in clutch for this road trip, so picked up 3 games. First one being, picked up a copy of Final Fantasy X for the PlayStation 2 for £4. Got to show this, I mean, how awesome is that manual there? I mean, look at Tidus, that's fantastic art. And this one actually comes complete with the DVD, which has got interviews, trailers and art, so super happy with that. And the reason why I picked up 10 and 10-2 is for my Final Fantasy X shelf here. So what I'm going to do, I'll maybe do some overlay here, but I'm going to put those there and create a display similar to what I've got for the Final Fantasy 13 games. So for £6 I thought they looked cool on the shelf. Then back to the actual pickups, I picked up a copy of Legacy of Kain for £12 for the PS2, again in good condition, and this was a blast from the past. So I was flicking through the manual when I got back, and you probably won't be able to see this, but I actually found a game station receipt in that Legacy of Kain copy, and you won't be able to see it, but it actually says someone paid, how much did they pay? I think they paid $3.99 for this copy of Legacy of Kain in 2008. Might just be able to make it out, but super cool. I remember Game Station, so many memories in that fantastic shop, but like everything, it's no longer around. And then the last game I picked up, again, another 3DS game, trying to get all of the major JRPGs that are actually good on the 3DS. I picked up a copy of Tales of the Abyss for £18, and again, in very good condition, complete with a manual. So yeah, happy with the pickups. Good to be picking up some nice 3DS games for my JRPG collection. And like I said, definitely not a vintage game hunt by any stretch of the imagination, but as a game collector, it's important to get out there on a regular basis because you never know what you're going to find. And sometimes you're going to have hunts like this where you can get demotivated, you don't find anything, but you've got to persevere and hopefully you find something. I also forgot to mention when I went to Stourbridge CEX that I also traded in that copy of, what was it called? Think, it's late, been a long day. Farming Simulator 18, man, it's like 7:10, it's been a long day, guys. I traded that in for a £23 voucher, so doing some quick maths, how much on a voucher did we get? We got £91 on a CEX voucher from Stourbridge, so £91 to add something nice to the collection. But yeah, going back to the hunt, wasn't a great hunt by any stretch of the imagination, but happy with the pickups. Got some nice games, excluding that, got some nice games to be adding to the collection. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of today's video. Let me know if you enjoyed going to CEXs and just, you know, not looking on the app to see what's in stock and just seeing what they've got to offer on the shelves, because when I initially planned out this video, I was hoping to come back with a bag full of steel books, collector's editions, bigger boxes, but unfortunately wasn't to be, but still had a great day. So let me know how you go to CEX shops in your local area, and also let me know if you saw something on the footage that you would have picked up. And while you're down there in the comments, make sure you hit the like button and consider subscribing to the Collector's Quest channel. Got so many videos planned for you guys in the upcoming weeks, and got a massive backlog of car boot hunting videos, game hunting videos, CEX trips. So if that's your jam and you're into those kind of things, then definitely subscribe to the Collector's Quest channel. And as always, good luck on your game hunting, collecting adventures. Take it easy, YouTube, and I'll catch you in the next one.